The first I'm going to read you are everything I'm reading is from unpublished material. I've got a lot of books, which are probably in the library, I hope. If somebody hasn't stolen them, and you can read them there. But everything that I'm doing is unpublished. The Chinese poems will be out next year, I guess. The poem which I just read will be in the next New Directions Annual, which will be a pocket book published by Evergreen. And this book will be out, I hope, next year, and these are my own poems. The first are a series of poems to my little daughter, and they are called Astronomy Lessons, and they have, the epigraph is a title of a book of science fiction by Frederick Brown called, I think one of the most beautiful titles I ever saw, the book isn't so much, The Lights in the Sky Are Stars. And the book is called the general book will be called In Defense of the Earth. 1. Halley's Comet. When in your middle years the great comet comes again, remember me, a child, awake in the summer night, standing in my crib and watching that long-haired star so many years ago. Go out in the dark and see its plume over water, dribbling on the liquid night. Think that life and glory flickered on the rushing bloodstream for me once, and for all who have gone before me, vessels of the billion-year-long river that flows now in your veins. Halley's Comet, in case you haven't minded your lessons, comes once every, 97 years? 2. The Great Nebula of Andromeda. We get into camp after dark, high on an open ridge, looking out over 5,000 feet of mountains and mile beyond mile of valley and sea. In the star-filled dark, we cook our macaroni and eat by lantern light. Stars cluster around our table like fireflies. After supper, we go straight to bed. The night is windy and clear. The moon is 3 days short of full. We lie in bed and watch the stars and the turning moon through our little telescope. Late at night, the horses stumble around camp and I awake. I lie on my elbow watching your beautiful sleeping face like a jewel in the moonlight. If you are lucky and the nations let you, you will live far into the 21st century. I pick up the glass and watch the great nebula of Andromeda swim like a phosphorescent amoeba slowly around the pole. Far away in distant cities, fat-hearted men are planning to murder you while you sleep. 3. The Heart of Heracles. In the constellation of Hercules, in case you don't know, there is a cluster of stars, and there's another poem about that in Cancer, in the Crab. Not a nebula, but a very dense cluster of stars, which you can see with the naked eye as a little spot, but which under a very weak glass shows up as a very splendid, dense ball of points of light. In Hercules, most of them are Hercules are different colors, and in Cancer they're mostly rather golden color. They say nowadays that you can't refer to the simplest episodes in the Bible or in classical mythology before an audience of students with any guarantee that anybody will know what you mean. I don't believe that, but I think that by and large people know who David and Moses were, and Jesus Christ. But the finer details of astronomy may escape a miscellaneous audience, whether students or not. That's why I paused. I don't mean to insult your intelligence. 3. The Heart of Heracles. Lying under the stars in the summer night late while the autumn constellations climb the sky, as the cluster of Hercules falls down the west, I put the telescope by and watch Deneb move toward the zenith. My body is asleep. Only my eyes and brain are awake. The stars stand around me like gold eyes. I can no longer tell where I begin and leave off. The faint breeze and the dark pines and the invisible grass, the tipping earth, the swarming stars, have an eye that sees itself. 4. A maze of sparks of gold. Spring, the rain goes by, the stars shine pale beside the Easter moon. Scudding clouds, tossing leaves whirl overhead. Blossoms fall in the dark from the fragrant madronia trees. You lie beside me, luminous and still in sleep. Overhead, bees sleep in their tree. Beyond them, the bees and the beehive and the crab drifts slowly past, a maze of points of fire. I've had 10 times your years. Time holds us both fixed fast under the bright, wasting stars. A sword in a cloud of light. Your hand and mine, we walk out to watch the Christmas Eve crowds on Fillmore Street, the Negro district. The night is thick with frost. The people hurry, wreathed in their smoky breaths. Before the shop windows, the children jump up and down with spangled eyes. Santa Clauses ring bells, cars stall and honk. Streetcars clang. Loudspeakers on the lampposts sing carols. On jukeboxes in the bars, Louis Armstrong plays White Christmas. In the joints, the girls strip and grind and bump to Jingle Bells. Overhead, well, they do. Haven't you ever been to the bar at Christmas? Overhead, the neon signs scribble and erase and scribble again messages of avarice, joy, fear, hygiene, and the proud names of the middle classes. The moon beams like a pudding. We stop at the main corner and look up diagonally across at the rising moon and the solemn, orderly, vast winter constellations. You say, there's Orion. The most beautiful object either of us will ever know in the world or in life stands in the moonlit empty heavens over the swarming men, women, and children, black and white, joyous and greedy, evil and good, buyer and seller, master and victim, like some immense theorem which, if once solved, would forever solve the mystery and pain under the bells and spangles. There he is, the man of the night before Christmas, spread out on the sky like a true God, in whom would be only necessary to believe a little. I am 50 and you are 5. It would do me no good to say this, and it may do no good to write it. Believe in Orion. Believe in the night, the moon, the crowded earth. Believe in Christmas and birthdays and Easter rabbits. Believe in all those fugitive compounds of nature, all doomed to waste away and go out. Always be true to these things. They are all there is. Never give up this savage religion for the blood-drenched, civilized abstractions of the rascals who live by killing you and me.